Hey, how's it going? Hope everyone who watches this is having a great day, very blessed day. Here to talk about the difference between value ethics and difference between morality and ethics. Value ethics or virtue ethics emphasize the character of the professional. This can be seen in the article addressing value-based conflicts within counseling relationships by Cosset and Hurley, where one must explore their own values and morality to determine how best to solve ethical conflicts and or navigate ethical dilemmas. Positive ethics are somewhat at odds with principled ethics and the professional desire to protect themselves against lawsuits. The idea behind positive ethics is to forget about self-protection and pursue maximum potential, which is uh, a transcendent principle over minimizing harm. To pursue virtue and positive ethics, one must be willing to face lawsuits, backlash, and cross ethical boundaries determined by the ACA and APA, just as students did in the Keaton versus AW case and Ward versus Willoughby's case. Ethical codes are products of the rapidly growing, most ethical codes are products of the rapidly growing and ever increasing bureaucratic maze of formal legal documentation, uh, filled and filed for every word spoken and act on. This unnatural jungle of laws, regulations, bylaws, lawyers of organizations battling for our dominance, and the corporate political machine it feeds into stifles the ability for one to pursue what they themselves feel is good and right. Morality is largely determined by culture, although there are moral principles that transcend culture and can be found everywhere in the world. Rules like do not kill, do not steal. It's better to be able to trust each other than to betray one another, etc. Although most of us cross that last one at least once in our lives. But no one's perfect. Right? He without sin cast the first stone. Ethics are determined by a growing body, otherwise governing body, sorry, otherwise known as people in power. The ethical rules of an organization can reflect the culture's morality. It can reflect the culture's morality, but it can also be at odds with one's maybe internal sense of morality and can also be questionable and stand at odds with a strong moral backbone. A great example of this is the legal case in the Coase and Hurley article, those two legal cases. The counseling students acted morally, or according to their sense of morality, and in their nature to refer out the individuals who they knew they could not best serve. The ethical codes, as interpreted by the school's lawyers, however, convinced the judges and the jury that the proper interpretation meant that they poorly handled poorly handled that situation according to the ethical guidelines. And they had an ethical duty, according to the codes, to treat those individuals, even though the students could have said they didn't have competence, and it would have been another case entirely. So morality is generally broad. That's another difference, and ethical guidelines are typically more specific, although you can never get specific enough for every case, which is why you have to have lawyers interpret them and whatnot. My values for pursuing work as a consultant are largely based on my metaphysical framework that God gave us talents and abilities and free will to determine our own destinies. And so we have a moral obligation to pursue greatness and the fulfillment of our potential. Um, Otherwise, I would have just pursued money like an accountant or a lawyer, like these guys here, the cases. I'm not a fan of institutions or bureaucracy, to be honest, or being told what is right or what is wrong by a governing body, especially with today's inverted moral landscape in the West. That can put me at odds fairly quickly and easily. And I deeply empathize with those students in those cases in the Hurley He Cosset article. Thank you very much. Have a great day.